Hello.
Welcome.
I'm Christine.
I'm Jamie.
We are...
Books and booze.
Yeah. Are we going to change that to books and booze, though?
I feel like we should.
Okay, this is
If
a funny
it's a
story.
viable
Before we
option.
get into The Princess Bride, I asked Jamie one day, I was like, why do we have the N? Why did we do that? And neither of us knew.
No, because I remember I was looking for names and someone had the and already for Instagram, I believe.
I feel like that wasn't why. Like, that doesn't hit for me.
That hits for me. Because I remember,
felt
and
like
I was
we just
looking.
liked it.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. But we're at a point where we're like, why are we doing that?
Yeah, it's weird. Books and booze.
So that might be coming up.
Big changes happening.
But today we're talking about The Princess Bride, the book.
Yes, which was, someone asked, I think when I went and got my hair done, Tara was like, what are you guys reading now? And then I said The Princess Bride. She's like, I saw that. And I was like, yeah, it's a random choice, but it's fun. And then we were talking about, like, yeah, because you always see that book. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I think it's, for me, I've seen it as a really popular movie.
Yes, and that as well.
But I didn't even realize it was a book before.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that.
I'm now disappointed I didn't have the movie in my childhood.
Yeah.
Right? It's a good one.
Yeah, it's fun.
Mm-hmm. It's so fun.
So we're going to talk about the book, and then later we'll talk about the movie as well. But neither of us had read the book or seen the movie. So this was like a really cool pick, if I say so myself, because this was my book club pick.
It was, and it ended up being very fun, which was nice. Very, very random. Not what I was expecting. So,
yeah,
bravo.
Bravo. And if you're not familiar, our book club picks are different from our usual episodes. So our usual episodes are series or duologies that we have read already, so we already know what's going on and stuff. The book club picks are books that neither of us have read, and we take turns picking them. So it's a fun little Russian roulette. Will we like it?
I feel like this kind of went good back and forth.
What do you mean?
The last one I think was just so serious and kind of depressing.
It was a little depressing.
Where this was
a lot depressing.
Yeah, the complete opposite.
Very, very depressing.
I loved it still, but
this was fun.
This was so fun. It was nice.
You're welcome. You're welcome. A little switcheroo. We needed this.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to talk about my drink?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is my book club pick, I get to do the drink. I made a drink to name after our main gal, Buttercup. And
the best name in book history.
Yeah. So I wanted to do a butter theme because her name is Buttercup. There were not buttercups in bloom, the buttercup flower in bloom at this point, so I had to get like a buttercup doppelganger for our pictures and video. I'm so sorry. But for the drink, I did...
So disappointed.
It was butternut squash and butterwashed vodka cocktail.
Super fun.
Yeah, I took off more than I could chew here. I was like going through the process of making these drinks and making the ingredients, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I have responsibilities. I have a lot of responsibilities to do in my life, and I'm taking so much time to do this cocktail. I was like, what am I doing?
She does do a video explaining it, and I was actually so surprised. I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah. So it's a butternut squash simple syrup that I made. So if you don't know, simple syrup is just like boiling sugar and water to make liquid sugar. But I also chopped up some butternut squash and put some maple syrup and some cinnamon on it, roasted that. Once that was done, I put it in the simple syrup and let that soak and just let it marinate for hours. And then I had to drain that, right? Not drain it, but like take the butternut squash out. So it just had the flavor of the roasted butternut squash. And then there's a butterwashed vodka. So then I had to make a brown butter, which is basically just like heating up butter in a pan until it's brown. And so then I let that cool, and then I put that in the vodka, and then I put that in the freezer. And then a few days later, I took it out of the butter. So then it's just like a butter flavored vodka. And so those are our two main ingredients. And then we add a spiced rum, and we add some lemon, and we add some orange bitters. And Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. It was strong.
very, very strong. Now, I didn't make up this recipe. I did get this online,
Yeah.
and I'll post where I got it from on social media because I can't remember right now. But they really wanted to get us toodled.
It's a sipper.
It's a sipper for sure.
Yeah. It does have a very good flavor to it though, and like you can really like taste the butter.
It tasted buttery, which is weird.
Yeah, but it was like good.
Yeah.
I'm almost like, let's do more butter vodka.
You could do some stuff with the buttered vodka for sure to make like a savory drink.
Like that's kind of intrigued me, that whole process. So yeah.
So it was worth it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I just like pack my week full with like children and work, and then I'm just like, let's also cook for cocktails, and just like, no. No, it was worth it, right?
Yeah, it was totally worth it.
Okay.
Oh, side note, I just wanted you to tell me what Freddie said to you again. I was trying to think of it the other day. The romantic thing.
Oh, when we were going to sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. Jamie wanted to know what my son said to me. She couldn't remember. I told her on Mother's Day. My husband and I take turns putting our kids to sleep, you know, so it's not always me doing it because they go, mommy, mommy, mommy. I don't know if anyone else has kids out there, but that's what happens. So we take turns. So it was Daddy's turn. And monkey holding me, you know. He said, no, I just want to stay like this. He's like, till the sun comes up and the sun goes down, the sun comes up and the sun goes down.
It's so sweet. What? This is like the most loving thing anyone could ever say to you.
Yeah, my husband was like, that's the best compliment you'll ever hear. No one will love you more than that. Right?
And to just say completely on you like that, and just like, I could stay like this for days.
He wants me to hold him all night. On Mother's Day, actually, this is what happened. I was laying in bed and I was sleeping, and he was facing me, like face to face. And then I tried to turn around, just, you know, as you do while you're sleeping to get more comfortable. And he climbed over me to the other side of the bed so that we could be face to face again. And then I did a little experiment in my head, pretending still asleep, turned around, turned my face to the other side, and he moved over because he wanted to be face to face as we were sleeping.
That makes me want to cry. Like, he loves you so much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like, I don't know if anyone loves anyone that much.
No.
Oh, that's so sweet, though.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, good luck finding that.
Yeah, I mean, I love him just as much, so it's fine. But also, I sometimes need personal space.
No.
Okay, let's talk about the book.
The Princess Bride. What happens when the most beautiful girl in the world marries the handsomest prince of all time, and he turns out to be, well, a lot less than the man of her dreams?
As a boy, William Goldman claims he loved to hear his father read the S. Morgenstern classic, The Princess Bride. But as a grown-up, he discovered that the boring parts were left out of good old Dad's recitation. Recitation. And only the good parts reached his ears.
Now Goldman does Dad one better. He's reconstructed the good parts version to delight wise kids and wide-eyed grown-ups everywhere.
What's it about? Fencing, fighting, true love, strong hate, harsh revenge, a few giants, lots of bad men, lots of good men, 5 or 6 beautiful women, beasties monstrous and gentle, some swell escapes and captures, death, lies, truth, miracles, and a little sex.
In short, it's about everything.
Is there sex?
No, that's not. Yeah.
Anyway, this is a old book.
Yes.
A little bit different than what we usually do. So it's from 1973, and then the movie was in 1987. We get this meta view from this book. Now, I did not know this. And
I got a warning from you, which was super helpful.
Right?
I can't imagine going into it not understanding that whole part of it. You would have just been like,
what is happening?
What the hell is going on right now?
Who is he talking to? What is he doing?
Yeah, I was like, this guy sucks.
I had to Google it.
Yeah.
I Googled it and I was like, oh, okay, this is helpful.
Yeah.
What am I reading? Just give me context before I go into it, because I'm just the mental gymnastics of figuring it out is not what I want to be doing right now. So after I Googled it, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it.
I mean, I think there is an intro, but still, that wouldn't have.
It didn't give me
No, it
No,
didn't, because I
because
started reading it too, and I was like, it's just talking about
the
stuff.
anniversary version of the book is like a whole bunch of William Goldman giving his comments on the
Yeah.
movie
And the
and
movie, yeah.
casting and experience doing that. So it's like, okay, where's the book, right? As a reader who doesn't know anything, I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's super weird to go into the anniversary edition not knowing
Yeah.
anything. Because I think at one point he's like talking about Billy Crystal. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening? And then
Where is
you
the real
texted me
intro?
as I think I was in that part, being like, you don't have to read it.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, skip that part. Anyway. So, this is a fictional abridgment with Goldman talking about the original version by, again, a fictional, the fictional author S. Morgenstern. So there's a long intro. Yeah, we talked about that. But there's long asides throughout the book by Goldman talking about the abridgment, which is fake.
Yes.
Not real fake. So the idea is that Goldman grew up with the story being told by his dad, which is also untrue. That's not a real story
Oh, yes.
that his dad told us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in seeking out the original, he sees that many details, including the political satire about Florin, where Morgenstern originated, now seeing that his father had told him just the version with the good parts. So he decides to do the abridged novel with only the good parts, commenting on the parts that were removed. But yes, again, all of that is not real. It's just,
Yeah.
that's
Super cool
concept.
Yeah. Like, I once done, like, I really loved it. And I think it's kind of an interesting, like, exploration of, like, storytelling and, like, just a lot of, I think it's like a story about, like, a story and what you can get from that and, like, the messages. Yeah, it's very interesting and hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has done. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else out there has read anything that feels similar to this or like that type of approach to writing,
Yeah.
like a fictional novel. But I don't know. I obviously never encountered that before. It was just like,
No. What the hell is going on? I had a bit of a rough start with it, though.
oh, rough. What do you mean?
I just did not like it. I was like, there is way too many fat jokes, number one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't. I mean, it was written. I understand the time that it was also written in.
Yes.
Where a lot of that was okay. But I was like, if this continues, it's like, it needs to stop. Which it did.
It did eventually, yes.
Yeah. But like the whole beginning part, I was just like, what is going on?
One of the things that I think makes this book attractive and that I like about the writing is that it is like silly and stupid.
Where I feel like once you like get it, then it's so like fun to as you're reading it.
Yeah, you gotta buy in.
Yeah.
For sure.
I did also like, and it was like him as a kid. I'm doing, what do you call it?
Quotations
Yes.
with your hands?
Yes. And he says, for the first time in my life, I became actively interested in a book. Me, the sports fanatic, the game freak, me, the only 10-year-old in Illinois with a hate on for the alphabet, wanted to know what happened next. Like, that's so exciting when you're young.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved that. Like, when you're the first time getting into a book, you're like, oh, I don't even want to do all this other stuff. So, yeah, I just enjoyed that. Another part I did like was the parentheses thing that he did. At first, I was like, what is this? And it's like throughout the book. Then, yeah, at the beginning, he does explain it. Says either Morgenstern meant them seriously or he didn't. Or maybe he meant some of them seriously and some others he didn't. But he never said which were the serious ones. Or maybe it was just the author's way of telling the reader, stylistically, that this isn't real. It's just fun. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And confusing.
It's so confusing. It made it so confusing. Where it literally says you don't have to read them even.
Yeah.
But it's just like when her parents are fighting and it says just, I don't know, they were just like funny little things.
Oh, I like that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is like this story feels a little bit like a parody.
Yeah.
Where it has like lots of genres in it.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's a fairy tale, but it's adventure, romance, comedy, escape, revenge. But I guess what I read too was like Goldman never intended it to be a parody, but it does feel very parody. Like,
Oh, actually?
yeah.
Oh.
It was like originally I think a story for his daughters was just like trying to make up a fun story about a fairy tale, and then he started writing it and then it didn't feel like it quite like came together, and then he thought of the abridgment part and added that in, and then it felt like it makes more sense. But it is just, it combines so many like classic fairy tales or stories or fantasy tropes and ideas that it feels like a parody. right?
Yeah, because you are taking out all the stuff that's in the other books, which is fun. And that is how you would tell a kid the story. Because you're like, I'm not going to explain these 3 chapters where she learns how to become a princess. And
as fantasy readers and romantasy readers, it is fun to see a book that is like silly about it.
yeah.
So I wanted, the part where like Wesley, he's wearing a mask and then like nobody could recognize him. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book right now, or I'm listening to an audiobook right now, The Lost God by Sheila Masterson.
Okay.
That happens in the book. It's like so funny that the book that I'm listening to right after The Princess Bride, that is something that happens and it's serious. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, Sheila.
No one, even this, I was like, nobody knows his voice. Like, she doesn't know his voice when he's in the mask.
Right, but that's silly. This book is a serious book. It's like, Sheila, you think the woman doesn't recognize him because he's wearing a mask?
Yeah. Even like the parts where like he goes and like he gets through the sword fighting and then like the strongest man and the smartest man, just like nothing. I feel like that's such like MMC thing.
Yeah, they're like one thing.
Where they're able to do everything, like it's no big deal. Or I think at like the castle where there's like
oh yeah, I see. That's
40
true.
men.
Yeah.
And he like can barely even walk. He's like, no, we got a plan.
Yeah.
We're gonna get rid of all of them, and it's just nothing. It's so
they
easy.
do it.
Yeah, he can do it.
He barely lift his head.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I do, yeah, I love that.
We're gonna take it as a parody.
I can't believe that.
I love how horrible Buttercup was. She was so mean.
I know. I loved her parents also.
Why?
They were just such fun characters, and I was sad they weren't in the movie. Like, I get why they weren't in the movie.
They cut that all out.
Yeah.
All of it.
I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, these are such fun characters. Because there's one part where they're describing how, like, she's pretty much, like, towering over them, and she's, like, the most beautiful thing, and they're just, like, complete opposite. I don't know. It was just like, oh, they're fun. Before there's something they always mention, like, you know what's weird, just in general? Like, baby fat. How everyone always says that. Do you remember that when you were younger?
Baby fat? Yeah.
Like, oh, you haven't lost your baby fat yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't know. And they said that about her. I'm like, that's so weird. Like, it's such a really weird...
Yeah, it's stupid.
Right? I saw it in there and I was like, I just need to say this out loud. Her wrists.
Huh?
Her wrists were like another thing, which I know was like a random thing.
Her wrists?
Yeah. And then it was like years later and she's like, oh, and my wrists weren't so, I think, bone. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But it just reminded me.
But her from a child to a woman, I think.
But was talking about how like her wrists weren't nice when she was... But it reminded me when I was in school and had Photoshop class. And our teacher did the Photoshop on like Canada's Next Top Model. So she was able to bring the pictures in and we had to edit them. And we had to do... That's where I learned like wrist editing and the amount of editing you do actually do on wrists. Which is wild. Because really you look at it like they're not... Because everyone has like veins and you have lines, which everyone has.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't look nice in like an ad.
Oh.
So and it was like they were like bathing suit ones. So it was really learning all that like, and that was the first time I learned like the amount of editing that goes into like actual ads and stuff. I was like, the amount of time you're spending on these women's wrists is wild.
Oh my god. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
And to bring up the movie again, they didn't keep in how horrible Buttercup was.
No, they didn't. Because I was like, oh, I read this totally different, which I think was way better for the movie.
Yeah, because there's only so much you can do, but I really missed that part of like loving to hate her, but loving her is she's so horrible, and then all of a sudden she loves him, and then all of a sudden they're in love. It's just like so silly and stupid, and
that was one of my favorite parts of the book.
A million more times throughout this episode.
Yeah, but that was one of my favorite parts was the beginning part, which I think you have, and that whole thing, because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And her trying to like go to sleep. She's like, the Countess won't stop staring at Wesley. When she closes her eyes.
Yeah. I mean, the quote is so long, so this is just like part of the quote of her like confronting Wesley after she realizes that she loves him. I know this must come as a surprise, since all I've ever done is scorn you and degrade you and taunt you. But I have loved you for several hours now, and every second more. I thought an hour ago that I loved you more than any woman has ever loved a man. But a half hour ago, after that, I knew that what I felt before was nothing compared to what I felt then. But 10 minutes after that, I understood that my previous love was a puddle compared to the high seas before a storm. Your eyes are like that. Did you know? Well, they are. How many minutes ago was I? 20? Had I brought my feelings up to then? It doesn't matter. And then he shuts the door in your face.
It's so good.
What other favorite parts do you have?
That was the quote that I also had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, was from that. And then I just had, when he comes to her room and he kind of just says, do I love you? My God, if your love were a grain of sand, mine would be a universe of beaches. If your love were... She cuts him off. I don't understand the first one yet. She's just like... Oh, okay. It was how weird how when the Count came and the Countess, and then she just never was around again.
The Countess?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's gone.
Yeah, just, I was like, oh. I was like, she seemed like fun and like evil.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted her back. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I do love the prince's name. That was a great choice.
Humperdinck?
Yeah, a really...
So what I read was Goldman, in like making up the story as like a sort of a kid's story, it was kind of like those kinds of names, or like silly names like Buttercup, Humperdinck, and so those just kind of stuck.
I also did love the little side story with the hat lady who he tried to court for like a hot second.
Oh yeah,
And
then she was bald, right?
And then she ended up being bald.
Yeah, that was fun.
Right?
He was really mean.
So mean. I was like, what happened? Oh, she's bald.
I liked the Zoo of Death, which was the bad guy.
Same.
It was a really good bad guy side story that they didn't include in the movie. And
that was one of my only notes I made for the movie. Was I was very upset they changed the name for it. And
what did they change it to?
It was just like a dungeon of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, Zoo of Death sounds so cool.
Yeah, it's like so ultimate bad guy that he would have a zoo of death where he hunts various species of animals.
He loves hunting.
It's great. Do you want to read that quote?
Oh, yeah. Hunting was his love. He made it a practice never to let a day go by without killing something. It didn't much matter what. When he first grew dedicated, he killed only big things, elephants or pythons. But then, as his skills increased, he began to enjoy the suffering of little beasts too. He could happily spend an afternoon tracking a flying squirrel across forests or a rainbow trout down rivers.
Yeah, great. Just like ultimate power and stupidity rolled into a bad guy and just exaggerated. It's great. I was going to go into the fight scene. Do you have anything to add? Like the rope scene or the fight scene?
No, I just loved the whole time that's happening and...
What happening?
When they're like running away from him. Like the fight rope, like all that. Is that or you're just...
Oh, from Wesley?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. When they're running away from the Man in Black or like...
Yes.
Yeah.
And is it Vizzini? Is that right?
Vizzini?
Vizzini?
Yeah.
Right? And he's just like, inconceivable. And he just,
there was like so many really popular one, I think.
Yeah. Like in the movie he did it, and in the book I loved how he just kept saying it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like really good...
quotable things.
Yes. But that was like one of my favorites.
Yeah, and at some point Inigo was like, I don't think you know what that means, or something like that.
Yeah.
And forgive me if you're like a big fan of this and listening to it and like yelling at your sound machine.
You're swearing.
I really loved the rope scene and the Inigo and Wesley fight scene.
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna repeat this a few times. Like Inigo, like his backstory, and then just what came. Like I think he was my favorite.
Same.
I loved the backstory and how we got there and the six-fingered man. That was wonderful. And then the repeating of, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I love that so much.
No, that was also...
Yeah. And then both of them fighting with their left hands, only to reveal that that it's both their weakest hands.
I'm also not left-handed.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's a very movie and book.
And in the
really
movie, they did it so well. Yeah. I was so happy with it.
Also, in the movie, my favorite character, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, did you see who played him?
Jamie, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Jamie. Now, the poison wine scene.
Oh, also
this
so
was
good.
Also, when I was reading it, I was like, yes, I am guessing the people, because this is a cult classic. The people who love the movie or love this book, I was reading it, I was like, this is one of the scenes, right, guys? This is one of the scenes I really like, because it is super good. I wanted to write it all down. I wanted to do it all, but it's so long. So we're not going to do that.
No.
But just the scene is really wonderful, where Wesley, or the Man in Black, has the iocane powder and then challenges the Sicilian, or Vizzini, to the battle of wits, because he's supposed to be super smart, right? And then so Vizzini distracts the Man in Black and...
What's that over there?
Yeah, what's that? Look over there. Switches the cups, and the Man in Black says, I don't understand. What's so funny?
I'll tell you in a minute. Or tell you in a minute. Okay, wait, do that again.
I don't understand what's so funny.
Tell you in a minute, but first, let's drink.
And then Vizzini reveals that he switched the cups, but then he just dies.
Yeah.
And then later we get that he tells Buttercup that he had poisoned both cups, and that he had built up an immunity to the iocane powder beforehand. Just like so stupid.
Oh, I love it so much.
I really did feel while reading this book that I was like reading something that was so well known to so many people, but I was experiencing it the first time, and I really didn't want to like spoil myself. I was like, I feel like this is a story I should know, but I don't know, and I get to experience it without being spoiled. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like when something is so popular, but I actually don't know the story, and I'm reading it not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And I don't know that a lot of people get that experience.
No.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. I did like when she like finally... Oh, also, how weird was the scene when they were in the swamp area?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like, I think that's like the quicksand part?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when you were younger, like I felt like quicksand was like such a thing to be afraid of, or I always felt like it was in movies.
Yeah, it was a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, it was so weird to actually like see it again.
Is that like an Indiana Jones thing?
Maybe.
I've never seen Indiana Jones, but I feel like that maybe, like, you know, when something is like so popular in media that it like infiltrates just
everything.
Like everything.
Because even watching that scene in the movie part, I was like, I feel like I've seen this, but I know that I haven't.
Yeah, and then you're like, you question yourself. You're like, is quicksand real? Is that actually a thing?
Right?
Or was that just a movie thing that as a kid I took into my mind, and now I thought quicksand was real?
Yeah. And it's something I need to be deathly afraid of.
Yeah, but the quicksand scene was cool. It was like jumping into water, but it was sand.
Yeah. Love that. So when she's back in the castle and she finally goes to the prince and he's saying, oh, write a letter and all. I just love she goes in and she asks him for like help with her letter.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley, my passion, my sweet, my only, my own. Come back. I shall kill myself otherwise. Yours in torment, Buttercup. She looks at Humperdinck. Well, do you think I'm throwing myself at him? And he says, it does seem a bit forward. It doesn't leave him a great deal of room to maneuver. Love that whole interaction.
So funny.
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, I like that you wrote that, because there's like a later scene where she talks about like, I had never seriously contemplated suicide before. Oh, of course she thought about it. Every girl does from time to time. I'm like, what? And in the movie, they use that, and it's actually, because I don't think this is in the book, it's actually like a conversation between her and the king, where she turns to the king and says that she's going to kill herself.
Yes, she does.
And he just like,
It's like, okay, yeah.
It was just like so funny. And it reminded me of like, if we're talking about this as a parody, it was like very like Romeo and Juliet-esque.
Yes. Okay, when he does die at that part, I was actually so upset because I wasn't expecting it.
Me too. I was like, how are they going to come back from this?
And like the kid's reaction, like Billy was so upset and it made me so sad.
What?
The kid that was being read to.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and he's like, yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, he's like, Wesley dies,
dead.
My father said. What do you mean? Wesley dies. You mean dies? My father nodded. Prince Humperdinck kills him. He's only faking though, right? My father shook his head, closed the book all the way. Aw, shit, I said, and started to cry. I was like, oh, like he's actually dead?
It was very exciting.
It was. Because, yeah, I'm like, really, like, where are you going to go from here? Oh, what? The guy that marries them.
Yeah.
And how that is written.
Yeah.
Is the best thing ever. Marriage. The arch diadem begins. Marriage is a dream within a dream.
That's a really good impression.
Was it?
He does it in the movie too.
I know it was really
Yeah.
good in the movie.
Yeah.
I was just like reading it and I was dying. I was like, this is the best.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
And then he just keeps going,
Yeah, and he's just the guy.
taking it very seriously.
He's like, okay, let's hurry along. No. Marriage.
Man and wife, say man and wife.
Okay, if you have not seen the movie, highly recommend. Just also want to throw that out there.
Yes.
Because that actor did do really good. Okay, what did you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Inago finally killing Rugen, the six-fingered man. That was a fantastic scene.
It was.
Right, obviously there's such a build-up, and such more of a build-up in the book because you get the huge backstory, right?
Yes, and
So it
even just
feels
how
more-
he kills him.
And how he kills him, too.
He does the cuts on the cheek.
Yes.
And then he stabs him like around his heart.
Yes. I think that's one of the quotes I have.
Oh.
Yeah, so when he says the quote that he says over and over again, right? So, my
can I
name is
say it?
Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. Okay. And then he says, stop saying that! Okay. That was so funny.
Yes. So he just kept repeating it and repeating it. Can I say it now? My name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I wanted to give a different...
I liked yours. And then Rugen is trying to give him things like, this is what I'll give you, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I want Inigo Montoya, you son of a bitch. And then the six-fingered sword flashed again. The Count screamed, that was just to the left of your heart. Inigo struck again. Another scream, that was below your heart. Can you guess what I'm doing?
Cutting my heart out.
You took mine when I was 10 and I want yours now. We are lovers of justice, you and I. What could be more just than that? The Count screamed one final time and then fell dead of fear. Yeah, it's like all very dramatic. And Inigo is obviously like in the start of that scene, he's stabbed. So it's like, oh no, he's gonna lose. He's so wounded, but still comes back and does this like outrageous win.
Just like, oh,
It's just
right,
like,
I have to just shove my hand in the wound.
again, more silliness, more stupidity. It's great.
It's so good. I really just have kind of, I think it's the last line maybe? I'm not trying to make this a downer. Understand. I mean, I really do think that love is the best thing in the world, except for cough drops. But I also have to say, for the umpteenth time, that life isn't fair. It's just fairer than death. That's all. It's just like, same. I love cough drops. So
You love them that much?
I have a cough drop addiction.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
No?
No.
Oh my god, ask Stacy. Because every time we'd be at the gym, it was just I have to have like a cough drop in my mouth.
Why?
I don't know. I over probably the last few years have just developed it where I like to just, pop
And you
a cough
don't have a
drop.
cough.
No, I don't. And then we were at a funeral and she showed up and she came and sat beside me. She was like, I know I always make fun of you, but do you have a Halls? I'm like, I do. I absolutely do.
Always do, girlfriend.
Yeah. I always have to have like 2 packs of Halls.
Oh my god, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I see you differently
So
now.
this quote really hit home for me.
I guess so. See, the end of that quote hit more for me.
But also that. I like that they also were like, yeah, life isn't fair, guys. And it's not.
Yeah.
Moral of the
Love
story.
sucks, life sucks.
Yeah.
So, but death is, it's all unfair, you guys.
Right?
That's the end of it. But can we just give a shout out? Because I know we didn't say anything about Fezzik, and I feel like he's a very
yes. I loved him.
critical character, and I loved him too.
I also really enjoyed his backstory.
Yes, that was a good backstory. Yeah. He's sort of like the gentle giant trope who is not very smart.
Yeah, him and
What?
I've just been saying his name 1,000 times.
Inago?
Yes, him and Inago, how they had their little their rhyming thing that they did together.
Yes.
I loved
They
that.
were so cute together.
Yeah, they were my favorite.
Totally.
Yeah.
Before I realized I shouldn't be reading this part, when William Goldman was talking about the movie, and he was talking about just casting Andre the Giant.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of cute too, because it was just like, this is who I had imagined.
Yeah.
And he actually got to end up playing the role in the actual movie. So I thought that was cool.
That was really cool. That happened also with, I think, Billy Crystal, maybe? I wrote that about? I can't remember.
Okay, I think I probably stopped reading it.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Andre the Giant thinking if that happened. I don't know.
One of the things that I realized while watching the movie, I thought a ravine was water. Like, you know that scene where she pushes him down the hill and then they have to go into the swamp?
Yeah, I also thought a ravine had
Yeah.
water,
Yeah, it's
rocks and
not.
water. Is it just like a slope?
It's just like when there's like too high,
I
like
totally thought it was.
yeah, no, it's not.
So like half of that I got. We probably both got.
So like as I was reading the book, I was like, are they underwater? You know?
I
And
thought they
just
were
went
like
with it.
it was like water with like rocks, and they were like that's what I pictured. Like I pictured the two high hills on either side,
Yeah.
and then like almost like a river with like rocks, and that's what I thought they were kind of
Yeah.
walking through.
No.
But I didn't even realize that.
Well,
See, we learn stuff from reading, guys.
learn things at any point in your life.
Ravine, not water.
The ending of the movie ends with a kiss. The book just kind of ends, though.
Yeah, I liked how the movie ended.
Yeah. I mean, neither are like fantastic, but at least it's like something. But
Yeah.
I think the idea is like the author playing into the abridgment
Yeah.
humor.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, by the end, I didn't care for. Go away, William. One of the things I really wanted from the movie and didn't get was Prince Humperdinck. I wanted him to be more
Extra.
Yeah, I wanted him to be more secretly sleazy. I wanted him to be more exaggeratedly pulling the wool over Buttercup's eyes, and then Buttercup being more like exaggeratedly naive.
Yeah, and the Count too. I also expected more from him.
Yes, like
Yeah.
the book felt way more exaggerated, and like even when we're talking about the beginning of the book again, like Buttercup being really mean to Wesley, and then
Yeah.
Wesley being like, "Oh, I love you," and like they're that sort of silliness. We didn't get those
Yeah.
exaggerated pieces from the movie.
I think Wesley and then the three thieves did really well.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. That portion of
Yeah.
the movie really served the book well. I agree.
I think it is one of like the best book to movies I've seen though.
I think the movie is better than the book.
Yeah.
I did read online too. I did a lot of
You really did.
I went down a rabbit hole of people arguing about like, should I read the book or watch the movie first?
Read the book
Should I
first.
do the movie or do the book?
Yeah.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I feel like do the book first.
Do the book first? I have no idea.
I feel like do the book first because it almost makes the movie better. Because I'm like, I liked the movie better.
But you really don't know, Jamie.
I mean, yeah, I can never take that experience back.
But I did feel that way. Like knowing the backstories, knowing more information made me really like the movie. That was a little bit like could leave you wanting.
Yeah.
I just have a side note while I was reading the book. I was like, I know there's these like cuckoo people out there that like this book and who like the meta view that we don't totally get, and that like many people who consider this like a cult classic, that they'll make like little jokes that nobody else gets.
I love that. I think it's
now I
100%
think-
a cult classic.
Yeah, but now that we like know the books and movies, we get it. But like before this, we would be like, "What the fuck are you talking
Oh,
about?"
yeah.
And so I had this vision while reading the book of like someone on a first date who's obsessed with the book or the movie, and just like testing out their date by like saying certain lines.
Inconceivable.
Yeah, and then like laughing and then like not getting it, and then being like, "Yeah, it was nice to meet you," and like never seeing them again.
Yeah. It did do really bad in theaters though, the movie.
Apparently,
Yeah.
but so did the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's right. And what other movie? I mean, lots of movies that's
Yeah,
happened.
and then later became super popular.
Yeah. Casting call. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. Okay.
Casting call, The Princess Bride.
The fun thing of that we not watching the movie is I not having really any idea. Because I was like, do not look at who was in the movie.
Oh, see, I already knew.
Oh, okay. So I feel
Or
like
at least I knew like Wesley and Buttercup. I knew who played
yes,
them.
I knew Robin Wright did Buttercup, but that really, which I think, and I like that it was like introducing. I was like, oh, it's like one of her first. But yeah, so I had like no idea. So that was kind of fun. And then seeing who was actually cast, and I was like, oh, this is makes so much more sense.
Yes. So today, even though there is a movie,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about who, if they did a remake, who would do the remake?
Yeah. Or who you pictured while you were reading it, in my case.
Oh, yeah. No, none of mine are going to be cast in the remake. Of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start with Magic. Oh my god, is that his name? Magic? I was gonna say Magic Max.
I was like, who is Magic?
What's his name? Miracle Max.
You didn't have that in the casting?
It's not in the casting. Just you were mentioning that Miracle Max was Billy Crystal.
Right. Okay. Which I think was like the best.
That was so funny.
Billy Crystal and Carol Kane.
Yes.
Two of the funniest people. I love her.
That surprised me so much watching the movie is them. And I'm like, who are these people? And I looked it up. I was like, oh my god. Because they're unrecognizable.
Yes. But I felt Carol, you could tell by her voice.
Yes. But I was like, I know that voice. I know that voice. Yeah. Okay.
That was the absolute best surprise and part. Yeah. And that was,
I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. I can't do her voice. But you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I love her. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Nobody's watched it. She's in that, and it's so good.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
She's great in that.
Right? Just highly recommend.
So, yeah, check them out. We didn't cast them. We're just mentioning them as great castings. Do you want to do... Okay, my Chris Sanderson fun fact is he plays Prince Humperdinck. So, Chris Sanderson is the reason why... Sarandon. He's the reason why Susan Sarandon has her last name.
Is that her father?
Nope. They met in college and they got married. And then she kept his name.
Oh, that's immediately who I thought of when I saw his name, too, was Susan Sarandon.
And that's why she has that name. They never had kids together. They just divorced and she kept the name. And she has great things to say about him. She has good vibes from him still, so she just kept it. And I think it was like an acting thing. Like, I guess
it sounds really good together.
She thought it sounded good because it had two S's. So she was just like, yeah, I'll go with it.
That is a great fun fact.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I love that.
And then Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya. I love Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
Gideon, did you know that he hated that show?
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about Criminal Minds. He was on the first... How long was he on there?
3 seasons.
3 seasons? Really? Yeah. He didn't want to... Why didn't he want to be on the show? I forget why.
I think it was something to do with...
I thought he didn't like the show or something.
It was... Yeah. Oh, no. I literally was looking at it yesterday and I can't remember.
Wow.
I actually want to... Oh, because of the dark and disturbing subject matter. It was too much for him.
See,
Or was it season 2 after he left?
Yeah, he wasn't there for long.
Yeah, but he was such a good character. And I feel like they always reference him. So it feels like he was on it for a longer time than he actually was.
Yeah.
Also, during COVID, one of his children made a recording of him and his wife together answering questions. And they have a TikTok.
Do they?
Oh my god, it's so good.
Now that you say that, I remember them during TikTok, doing videos. Or not during COVID, doing videos and stuff.
And asking them, I think, he's like, what? I don't know, asking question. But they're so cute. Mm-hmm. And I just became so obsessed with it. I think it's just this kid asking him and his wife questions, and
yeah,
I love him.
He was on Homeland. So the show with Claire Danes as the main character. So he was her mentor, boss, co-worker.
Okay, well now I need to watch Homeland.
Friend, father figure. He was in all the seasons.
Yeah.
He is so... If you like him in the very small snippet of Criminal Minds, you'll love him in Homeland. He is so wonderful.
Yeah.
So that's where I know him the best. So to see him as this was put shivers down my spine and gave me the tingles.
Right? I was like, no. It was that's not him.
Yes.
No, it was.
Yes. You want to hear my my recasting?
Right, I guess we need to. Yes.
This was an optional recasting.
Yeah, I did it.
Mine was Adam Devine. Adam Devine.
Oh, yeah. I like mine. Marcelo Hernandez.
Who is that?
From Saturday Night Live?
Oh my god, that's such a good one.
Right? That's what I pictured the entire time when I was reading it.
Yeah, no, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I like that.
I was like, oh, he'd be so good. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, he would actually be really good at this.
Yeah.
He like has his hair.
He has his hair.
I feel like, well,
The
Marcelo.
movie, it's like a mullet.
But Marcelo has like hair, you know?
He could have that hair.
Yeah.
That's a really, yeah. Yours is a good one.
Thanks. I was really proud of that choice.
Who was your Buttercup?
So I'm just going to do my Buttercup Wesley Prince Humperdinck.
Sure.
Because it's literally Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and Simu Lee from Barbie.
Those are great.
That's who I was picturing as them.
I mean, those are basically like the, yeah. Yeah,
Right?
that makes
and
sense.
I just feel like which at the beginning of the book, how much they referenced like her beauty
Yeah.
and they talked about it. I was like, oh, that's like hard. Because I'm like, you really need to pick someone that's like, and so I just pictured Margot Robbie. And then I knew he was like blonde. And I was like, oh, and I was like, I'm just going to go with this. The Barbie leads.
Sure. Let's go with that. Okay, my Buttercup is Dakota Johnson.
Oh, she would be good at that. She's a good, funny person.
She's like a good like dry humor person.
Yeah.
She's not 20, but I don't care. I thought that would be
I
a
think
good
Marcelo is my own youngest person I have on here.
one. My Wesley is Lucian Laviscount.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do. You've casted him.
Oh, did I?
He's from Emily in Paris. You cast him in Bride by Allie Hazelwood.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about now?
Yes, I do. I love him.
And he's like funny and charming.
Yeah.
So, and he's got nice muscles, so I feel like he'd be like
Yeah.
he'd be able to do it. And
He'd be able to climb that rope.
He could totally climb that rope. My Prince Humperdinck is Andrew Garfield.
That's good. I feel like he's kind of tiny for it, but he would also just do really good.
He's just so funny.
Yeah.
He could be so
be so
mean
good.
and so like arrogant.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I also had Tom Hiddleston for the prince.
I thought of him too. I think yeah.
Right. Okay. What about Vizzini?
I didn't have any more.
Oh, you didn't?
Well, I said optional.
Oh, okay.
Fezzik, Inigo, and Vizzini. And so the only one I had one for was Inigo.
Okay. Well, I had Joe Lo Truglio, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like his best friend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's such a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he'd be so good. And then like watching, which I also loved the casting for that.
Yes, the Vizzini.
Yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of, because he was the teacher in Clueless. Yeah.
And then Fezzik, I had Ethan Suplee. I'm not sure how you say that. So he was, like my best friend Earl, varsity police, so he's bigger guy.
Yeah.
He's lost like tons of weight.
He's not a big guy anymore.
But he's still like big, like tall and like muscle.
Yeah.
And I am just I follow him. I love him.
What about The Rock?
No, he doesn't suit it.
I know, I'm just joking.
Oh. Or I was also like, Dave Bautista? And I was like, no. Dave Bautista's also cut back on the muscle.
Yeah.
So no. But the first person I thought of was Ethan. Because he has he's like a sweet face.
Yes, Gentle Giant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like, and he has like the height. And I'm a big fan of him. I would believe he's married, but it's fine.
That never matters, Jamie.
No. We'll find each other.
Who is your MVP of the book?
I feel like it's kind of obvious.
1, 2, 3.
Marcelo.
My name is
Yes. No, yours is better. My name is Inigo Montoya.
My name is Inigo Montoya. What is Montoya's joke? Okay, 1, 2, 3. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Winner. MVP.
Okay. Your MVP can't be your casting.
No, it's Inigo. My MVP is Inigo.
Oh, I know, but you said it was...
I was trying to be funny.
Oh. Well, it didn't land, Jamie.
Clearly. But yes, MVP, 100%.
That's the best character of the book, right?
Yeah. And Fezzik is like right below.
Who?
Fezzik.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh.
No, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
And then Fezzik, for sure.
And then the albino.
That was a funny character too that was done really well in the movie.
Mm.
And then I was like, should we be saying the albino? That feels a little bit... Let's not do that. Okay. That's all we have to say. If you feel like we got something wrong or we missed something, you keep it to yourself. Just kidding. Let us know, because this is so brand new to us, the book and the movie, that if there's like a favorite scene that we missed, a favorite line that we missed.
Fun facts. More fun facts.
We'll take some fun facts.
There's probably so many fun facts.
Give us some. Give it to us.
I also think you can listen to it on Audible, and Mandy does the recording, I'm pretty sure. Which is pretty exciting. Also, just check him out on TikTok.
Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
Mandy Patinkin is one of those people that I do want to be my lover, my mother.
Right?
My babysitter, my teacher,
Just everything.
My handler. Like, I just want him to be in every aspect of my life.
Yeah. Just to hold me.
I'll take him.
To hold me in the morning and then in the evening.
And in the evening, and then when the sun goes up and the sun goes down, the sun comes up and the sun goes down. That's it. That's it. That's not asking much.
No.
If you're not already following us on social media, if you could follow us on Instagram or TikTok, follow us on wherever you're listening to us, and give us 5 stars, give us a comment. Anything is incredibly helpful, and we appreciate you and we love you so much. Okay, toodaloo.
Inconceivable.